Today, we'll take a trip to Nantou, Taiwan, to explore a truly extraordinary case. In the northeastern town of Puli, Nantou, there is a family with the surname Liu. For 3 generations, the Liu family has been in the tofu-making business. Many local snack vendors in town and nearby areas rely on tofu supplied by their family. With over 55 years of local fame, known for the quality of their products, the Liu family has earned a solid reputation, and their business has steadily grown. However, one day, this family was struck by a series of tragedies within just a few months. Family members began dying one after another under strange and unpredictable circumstances. What could have happened to them? Was there a dark conspiracy unfolding? Follow Crime Documentary Files as we dive into this mystery. The events began on a day in 2009 when an insurance salesman rushed to the local police station. He reported to the police that his company suspected a customer was attempting insurance fraud and requested an investigation. The person accused of fraud was Lin Wu-ru, 27 years old, the daughter-in-law of the Liu family, a well-known tofu supplier in Puli. 2 months earlier, Lin Wu-ru's mother-in-law had passed away. Before her death, Lin Wu-ru had taken out an insurance policy on her. By July, the insurance claim process had been completed. The insurance agent arrived at the Liu family's home with a check to pay out millions of Taiwanese dollars in insurance money to the family. However, upon arrival, he discovered that Lin Wu-ru was not at home. What struck him as odd was that the Liu family was hosting a funeral. The deceased was Lin Wu-ru's husband, Liu Wu-hang, 28 years old. The insurance agent found the situation extremely suspicious. 2 deaths in the Liu family within just 2 months seemed highly unusual. He reported the matter to his company. After discussions, the insurance company determined that this was no ordinary situation. They decided to temporarily suspend the insurance payout and reported the case to the police. Upon receiving the report, the police immediately launched an investigation. According to Lin Wu-ru's insurance records, in October 2008 and May 2009, she had purchased life insurance policies for her biological mother, Lin Hu-yun, her mother-in-law, Zheng Huisheng, and her husband, Liu Wu-hang. Lin Wu-ru was the sole beneficiary of these policies. The total value of the insurance policies amounted to 20.4 million new Taiwan dollars, equivalent to approximately 640,000 USD at the current exchange rate. Coincidentally, all 3 individuals insured had since passed away. Lin Wu-ru's mother, Lin Hu-yun, died in November 2008 from a fall down the stairs at home. The insurance payout of 5.05 million new Taiwan dollars was deposited into Lin Wu-ru's account. Then, her mother-in-law, Zheng Huisheng, passed away on May 28, 2009, at the age of 47. Liu Wu-hang also died on July 20th of the same year. Both deaths were determined to be caused by acute myocardial infarction, heart attack. At this point, the police suspected that Lin Wu-ru might be involved in a significant case of insurance fraud. In fact, the police had been paying attention to the Liu family for some time. Rumors among locals suggested that there were issues with the family's feng shui, leading to the sudden deaths of 2 family members within just 2 months. Further investigation revealed that Liu Wu-hang had shown athletic talent from a young age. In middle school, he was a member of the school's baseball team, and by high school, he had become a standout badminton player, considered a top candidate for further development. He was always in excellent physical health. His mother, Zheng Huisheng, also maintained good health. The sudden deaths of both mother and son shocked everyone. According to local customs, the time from death to cremation typically extends beyond 10 days. However, Zheng Huisheng was cremated just 3 days after her death, under the direction of her daughter-in-law, Lin Wu-ru. Given these findings, the police ordered the cremation of Liu Wu-hang's body to be postponed. They then visited Puli Christian Hospital in Nantou County to review Liu Wu-hang's medical records. It was discovered that on June 25th and again on July 17th, Liu Wu-hang had been brought to the hospital by his wife, Lin Wu-ru, due to gastrointestinal discomfort. Shortly after his second visit, he passed away. The police interviewed several nurses who were on duty that day to gather more information. Nurse A stated, "At around 5:40 p.m. on July 17th, Liu Wu-hang exhibited symptoms of dizziness, diarrhea, and overall weakness. His wife, Lin Wu-ru, brought him to the emergency room. On July 19th, at the family's request, Liu Wu-hang was transferred to a private room, and his condition seemed to improve. However, at around 11:30 p.m. that night, Nurse A noticed that his skin was pale, and Lin Wu-ru was nowhere to be found, so she reported this to the head nurse. The head nurse rushed to the room and discovered that Liu Wu-hang had stopped breathing. She immediately began CPR and transferred him to the emergency room. By 2 a.m., Liu Wu-hang was pronounced dead. Another nurse, Nurse B, shared information about June 25th, when he was on duty at the hospital. At around 1 a.m., Liu Wu-hang was brought in by his wife, suffering from vomiting, diarrhea, dizziness, and lethargy. The doctor's initial diagnosis was gastrointestinal issues. About an hour later, at 2:42 a.m., Nurse B administered an IV drip. When Nurse B checked on him at 3:40 a.m., he noticed something unusual about the IV bag. The fluid appeared slightly cloudy and had an orange tint, while it was normally supposed to be clear. At this point, Liu Wu-hang seemed dazed. Nurse B reported the issue to the doctor and replaced both the IV bag and the needle. To ensure safety, he refrigerated the suspicious IV bag and moved Liu Wu-hang's bed closer to the nurse's station for closer monitoring. An hour later, Lin Wu-ru returned to the room, visibly upset, and asked Nurse B why the IV bag had been changed without her consent. Nurse B explained that there was an issue with the bag. Hearing this, Lin Wu-ru responded by saying that the hospital would be held responsible for the problem with the medication and hinted at escalating the matter. Nurse B chose not to argue with her. However, at around 5:30 a.m., another unusual incident occurred. Nurse B noticed Lin Wu-ru acting suspiciously. She had her back turned to the nurse's station, seemingly doing something. Upon closer inspection, Nurse B realized that Lin Wu-ru was holding a syringe and injecting something into the hanging IV bag. Nurse B immediately intervened and asked her what she was doing. Lin Wu-ru explained that she noticed the IV was dripping too slowly and wanted to unclog it with the needle. Nurse B found her explanation strange, but advised her to notify the nurse in such situations, then walked away. The police continued questioning Nurse B, asking why he didn't report Lin Wu-ru's suspicious behavior at the time. He responded that since the IV bag had already been replaced, there was no immediate danger. He didn't want to create a conflict between the nurses and the patient, believing that avoiding confrontation was better, so he didn't escalate the situation. Nurse B then handed over the replaced IV bag to the police for further examination. Shortly after, the autopsy results for Liu Wu-hang were released. His blood was found to have high levels of alcohol and antidepressants. The cause of death was determined to be poisoning, which led to respiratory failure. These toxic substances were found in the replaced IV bag. The suspect, Lin Wu-ru, was 27 years old, born in 1982 in Kaohsiung City. She was the youngest of 4 children, with 1 older brother and 2 older sisters. Her family worked in fruit farming. When Lin Wu-ru was in vocational high school, her father passed away, which caused financial hardship for the family. Her 2 sisters had to start working to support the household. After graduating from vocational high school, Lin Wu-ru began searching for a job and soon found work at a bar. Thanks to her good looks, her income steadily improved. However, at some point she got involved in lottery gambling and betting, and eventually gambled away almost all of her money. Even after losing everything, she didn't stop. In 2001, when Lin Wu-ru was 19, she met Liu Wu-hang, who was a year older than her. At the time, he was still a student. Liu Wu-hang was known for being carefree and liked to have fun. Over time, the two developed a romantic relationship and began living together. Lin Wu-ru persuaded Liu Wu-hang to join her in lottery gambling. As a result, both of them lost all their money and fell deeply into debt. Liu Wu-hang's friends noticed significant changes in him after he met Lin Wu-ru. He started skipping school, stopped playing badminton as much, and frequently argued with his family. Despite this, he was completely devoted to his girlfriend and was determined to marry her. Liu Wu-hang's parents were furious when they saw their son's downward spiral. They cut off his financial support and demanded that he break up with her. Despite her family's disapproval, Lin Wu-ru and Liu Wu-hang did not break up. Lin Wu-ru once confided in a close friend, saying that she was determined to marry Liu Wu-hang. To ensure this, she actively prepared to get pregnant, hoping to have a child for the Liu family. However, after 2 pregnancies, she chose to terminate them when she discovered the babies were not boys. By the 3rd pregnancy, the doctor warned her that she could no longer have an abortion without risking serious health issues and possibly losing the ability to conceive again. Lin Wu-ru decided to keep the baby. In 2006, at the age of 24, Lin Wu-ru secretly gave birth to a baby boy. Because of the child, the Liu family finally agreed to let her marry Liu Wu-hang. Around this time, Liu Wu-hang's father was diagnosed with liver disease and could no longer manage the family business. In an effort to get his son and daughter-in-law to stop their reckless behavior, Mr. Liu handed over the family tofu business to them and paid off most of their debts. From then on, the couple seemed to settle down for a while. They began learning how to make tofu. Lin Wu-ru even introduced a new version of stinky tofu, which received praise for some time. It seemed like their life was back on track, but at some point, Lin Wu-ru fell back into gambling. She became deeply addicted and neglected the family business. When she did work on the tofu, it was done haphazardly, leading to a decline in product quality, while prices skyrocketed without reason. Moreover, she frequently missed delivery deadlines to partner stores. Among their many customers, Mr. Hu was one of the Liu family's biggest clients, accounting for 1/3 of their total sales. For 55 years, ever since his father's time, Mr. Hu's restaurant had been buying tofu from the Liu family, and their partnership had always been harmonious. However, since Liu Wu-hang and Lin Wu-ru took over the business, Mr. Hu's restaurant often struggled to operate smoothly due to their negligence and irresponsibility. Due to their long-standing partnership, Mr. Hu visited the Liu family's home and gently pointed out the problems with their business to Liu Wu-hang's parents. Unexpectedly, Lin Wu-ru, who was sitting nearby, immediately became sullen and turned away, while Liu Wu-hang showed indifference. Seeing their attitudes, Mr. Hu decided to end the 55-year partnership and announced that he would no longer purchase tofu from the Liu family. This news quickly spread throughout the local business community. After Mr. Hu stopped working with them, other stores also gradually ceased ordering from the Liu family. Their business plummeted rapidly. Seeing that the family legacy was on the verge of collapse, Liu Wu-hang's grandfather rushed to bring his grandson and granddaughter-in-law to Mr. Hu's home to apologize. Even though an elder personally came to beg for forgiveness, Mr. Hu remained unmoved. He believed that the young couple's attitude was insincere and firmly refused to resume their partnership. Not long after, however, Lin Wu-ru opened a stinky tofu shop right next to Mr. Hu's restaurant, deliberately lowering prices and sending people with carts to promote the Liu family's tofu, pacing back and forth in front of Mr. Hu's restaurant. Mr. Hu knew that Lin Wu-ru was trying to retaliate and assumed this would not last long, so he patiently ignored it. After some time, the Liu family's tofu shop was forced to close due to financial losses. Thinking that the rivalry was finally over, Mr. Hu was shocked when, at around 4 a.m. on August 16, 2008, his restaurant suddenly caught fire. Mr. Hu wasn't at the restaurant at the time, but a neighbor noticed the fire and quickly informed him. Thanks to timely efforts to extinguish the flames, no one was harmed. However, Mr. Hu suffered significant property damage, with the entire restaurant burned to the ground. Later, someone told Mr. Hu that they had seen Lin Wu-ru wearing a coat and standing in front of the restaurant around the time of the fire, looking suspicious. This led Mr. Hu to suspect that Lin Wu-ru had started the fire, so he reported it to the police. The police brought Lin Wu-ru in for questioning, but she denied the accusation, claiming that she had only been passing by. Although Lin Wu-ru was a prime suspect, due to a lack of concrete evidence, the case eventually faded away. Mr. Hu had no choice but to close the restaurant for repairs. However, many people believed that the arsonist was indeed Lin Wu-ru. The Liu family's neighbors also did not have a favorable opinion of her. They felt that ever since she married into the family, the Lius had not known a day of peace. After her marriage, Liu Wu-hang's father passed away from liver disease. Then the family business declined, and both Lin Wu-ru's mother-in-law and husband died in succession. The police discovered that Lin Wu-ru had not only purchased insurance for her biological mother, mother-in-law, and husband, but she had also attempted to take out policies on her 4-year-old son and her sister-in-law, Liu Yicheng. However, for various reasons, the insurance company did not approve these later applications. Lin Wu-ru's biological mother had also died in a home accident in 2008. On October 17th, the police officially arrested Lin Wu-ru. Later at her home, they found the same toxic substances that had been detected in her husband's IV bag. Initially, Lin Wu-ru only admitted to killing her husband. However, further police investigation revealed that her mother-in-law, Zheng Huisheng, had an excessive amount of sleeping pills in her system before she died. If injected intravenously, these substances could cause a heart attack. Faced with mounting evidence, Lin Wu-ru eventually confessed to poisoning her mother-in-law as well. To pay off her gambling debts, she chose to kill for insurance money. On the night of May 27, 2009, she laced her mother-in-law's food with drugs. Later that night, Zheng Huisheng experienced gastrointestinal discomfort and was taken to the hospital for treatment. That evening, Lin Wu-ru and her husband took turns caring for her mother-in-law in the hospital room. At 4 a.m., when it was Lin Wu-ru's turn to watch over her, she took advantage of the moment when no one was paying attention and injected a mixture of drugs into her mother-in-law's IV bag. After Zheng Huisheng stopped breathing in her hospital bed, Lin Wu-ru pretended to call for help. Her plan succeeded, and no one suspected a thing. The death of Liu Wu-hang happened in a similar manner. Lin Wu-ru invited her husband and some friends over for dinner, and when no one was paying attention, she slipped drugs into her husband's drink. After consuming the alcohol, Liu Wu-hang felt ill and was taken to the hospital. However, when a nurse caught her acting suspiciously, Lin Wu-ru panicked and threw the syringe containing poison into the trash. Her first attempt failed. On her second attempt, she specifically requested that her husband be moved to a private room. Although the nurse quickly noticed Liu Wu-hang's deteriorating condition, they were unable to save him. The police discovered through dashcam footage that on the day Lin Wu-ru's mother, Lin Ho-yue-yun, died, Lin Wu-ru had driven to her mother's house and left shortly afterward. When asked about this, Lin Wu-ru claimed that she had only gone to talk with her mother, insisting that her mother's fall down the stairs was accidental. Although she denied involvement, the police uncovered a lead. A friend revealed some of Lin Wu-ru's personal habits, noting that she was fond of reading novels about gods and demons and believed in karma. The police used this psychological angle, telling Lin Wu-ru that if she had truly killed her mother and the truth wasn't revealed in this lifetime, she would face karmic retribution in the next. Hearing this, Lin Wu-ru became increasingly fearful, her mental state deteriorated, and she eventually confessed to what had happened. On the day her mother died, Lin Wu-ru had been struggling with debt. She had borrowed 500,000 new Taiwan dollars, about $16,000 from her brother, but still couldn't repay it. Her brother had been pressuring her to return the money. The night before the incident, Lin Wu-ru had a heated argument with her husband, Liu Wu-hang, over the debt. Liu Wu-hang said he didn't want to ask his family for money on her behalf anymore. Seeing that her husband was no longer willing to support her, Lin Wu-ru drove to her mother's house that afternoon, hoping her mother could persuade her brother to give her more time to repay the debt. However, that day she secretly brought along a stun gun, just in case she needed to use force. Her mother, Lin Ho-yue-yun, scolded her for falling into gambling, squandering the family's savings, and borrowing money from everyone. No matter how much Lin Wu-ru begged, her mother insisted she could no longer help her. The argument between the mother and daughter escalated in the second-floor room. Unable to contain her emotions any longer, Lin Wu-ru pushed her mother forcefully just as she was about to head downstairs. Lin Hu-yun lost her balance and tumbled down the stairs, losing consciousness at the bottom. Seeing her mother lying motionless, Lin Wu-ru didn't call for help. Instead, she moved her mother's body, changing her position from lying face down to lying on her back. Then, she returned to the Liu family's home. On her way back, she disposed of the unused stun gun in a trash can. At 3 p.m., a man named Chen, the son of Lin Hu-yun's friend, came home and found her unconscious at the foot of the stairs. He immediately called for emergency services. However, it was too late. Lin Hu-yun had died from a traumatic brain injury. Everyone believed it was just an accident. Afterward, Lin Wu-ru successfully received her mother's life insurance payout. She used the money to pay off her debts, including what she owed her brother. However, Lin Wu-ru couldn't break free from her gambling addiction. It wasn't long before she lost all the money again and fell back into debt. This ultimately led her down the same dark path of crime once more. In addition to taking 3 lives, Lin Wu-ru also confessed to setting fire to Mr. Hu's restaurant. She harbored resentment because Mr. Hu had convinced other local vendors to stop buying tofu from the Liu family. At around 4 a.m. that morning, she wore a raincoat to conceal her face and body, then poured cooking oil on Mr. Hu's restaurant and set it on fire. Although someone saw her leaving the scene, she adamantly denied any involvement, and as a result, no charges were brought against her at that time. After her arrest, Lin Wu-ru remained calm and showed no signs of remorse. The news devastated the Liu family, with some members even fainting from the shock. In an interview with reporters, they couldn't hold back their tears, expressing that allowing Lin Wu-ru to marry into the Liu family was the biggest mistake of their lives. From the moment Liu Wu-hang started dating Lin Wu-ru, the Liu family didn't have a good impression of her. They felt that her job at the bar was improper and that her gambling addiction and mounting debts were corrupting Liu Wu-hang, leading him down a destructive path. The Liu family strongly opposed the relationship. During this time, Lin Wu-ru had 2 abortions, but the Liu family remained steadfast in their disapproval. What the Liu family never expected was that one day, Lin Wu-ru and Liu Wu-hang would return home with their newborn son. Under such circumstances, the Liu family had no choice but to accept the marriage. Equally shocked was Lin Hu-yun's family. When they learned that her death was not accidental, they were overwhelmed with grief and anger. Lin Wu-ru's brother was horrified to discover that the money he had received was, in fact, paid for by his mother's life. Neighbors and friends of the Liu family were also stunned when they heard the news. They knew that the Liu family had treated their daughter-in-law well. No one could understand why Lin Wu-ru would kill those closest to her. This case caused a public outcry when it came to light. The media compared Lin Wu-ru to a black widow spider, calling her cruel and heartless. People across the country demanded the death penalty for Lin Wu-ru. A year after the case, Lin Wu-ru's trial was held at the Nantou court, where she was charged with murder. During the trial, Lin Wu-ru unexpectedly changed her testimony, admitting only to killing her husband, Liu Wu-hang. She claimed that her earlier confession to killing her biological mother and mother-in-law had been coerced during interrogation. She claimed that her mother's death was purely an accident, and that her mother-in-law's death was not something she orchestrated either. She testified that she had been coerced and controlled by her husband, Liu Wu-hang, who wanted to carry out an insurance scam to finance a business investment. Lin Wu-ru stated that she was frequently abused by her husband and did not dare resist. According to her, she was forced to inject poison into her mother-in-law, Zheng Huisheng. She then used a similar method to get revenge on her husband. However, it was clear to everyone that the purpose of Lin Wu-ru changing her testimony was to reduce her sentence as much as possible. During the legal battle, the defense presented an IQ report showing that Lin Wu-ru had an IQ of 57, classifying her as mildly intellectually disabled, with the mental age of a child between 9 and 12 years old. Another psychiatric report indicated that she suffered from severe depression, sleep disorders, and was easily agitated. The police quickly refuted this claim with relevant evidence, stating that Lin Wu-ru had graduated from vocational high school. Moreover, her ability to manage the Liu family's tofu business and plot her husband's murder contradicted the notion that her intellectual capacity was below normal. While there were records of her being prescribed medication for depression, Lin Wu-ru did not display any of the associated symptoms. Whether she truly suffered from depression remained questionable. The case went through several court hearings. In May 2011, the Nantou District Court handed down a verdict. Lin Wu-ru was found guilty of murder and sentenced to the death penalty. Unhappy with the ruling, the defendant appealed to a higher court. In February 2012, the Taichung High Court reduced the death sentence to life imprisonment. A year later, however, the Supreme Court reinstated the death penalty, stating that the crimes she committed were exceptionally heinous and her actions were extremely cruel. The court concluded that there was no compelling evidence showing that Lin Wu-ru's intellectual capacity was significantly below normal and therefore upheld the death sentence. With this, the case officially came to a close. There were rumors that Lin Wu-ru's only request while in prison was to see her son. However, in reality, her son had been adopted by another family and could no longer visit her. Lin Wu-ru was left to live out the rest of her life in isolation. As of today, Taiwan has 37 death row inmates awaiting execution, and Lin Wu-ru became the only female death row inmate to have her sentence carried out. The story of the Black Widow Lin Wu-ru serves as a profound warning about the dangers of greed, moral corruption, and the devastating consequences they can bring. Her story is a clear reminder that true happiness doesn't come from wealth or material possessions, but from living a meaningful life with kindness and inner peace. That concludes today's video. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. If you'd like to watch similar content, please click on the video icons that are now appearing on your screen. Thank you very much.